Everybody please rise for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Let's give them another big hand, please. Okay.
Really?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Richie. Happy birthday to you.
You gotta give me a high five. What idea was this?
Good. Thank you again for what a great performance. Thank you. Thanks.
It doesn't matter, they'll tell you what you need to know.
That was wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
That's true. Board, you've had an opportunity to review the consent calendar this month. I would look for a motion to approve the items on the calendar. Jana, Kelly, any comments or questions on that?
I just have one comment on 2G was the positive behavior plans. I would just love to be able to see those like actually beforehand, because this time there was just a memo about it, but since it requires board approval, it'd be nice to view them.
Okay, Kelly, I wasn't aware. Thank you. We'll make sure you get a copy of them. Okay.
Anything else? If not, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Superintendent, let's turn some time over to you, please.
Well, board, as you all know, it's kind of a bittersweet night. We're saying goodbye to two long-standing stewards of our district, and we're going to start the recognition portion of our program tonight with a recognition of our stalwart board member, John Ritchie. And I told John when he came in tonight that I've got a stat sheet on him. And I'd like to just read some of his stats, and they're pretty darn impressive. I don't know if a lot of us even in the district are aware of the tenure of his service. I think you're going to be very surprised and impressed. John has served on the Board of Education for Weber School District for 22 years. He came in 2003. He is the longest serving board member in the history of our district. He is second to John is Brent Richardson, the late Brent Richardson, whose this room is named after, as you know, board president. He served for 18 years, and then H. Guy Child was the third longest serving board member for Weber School District at 16 years. John has served as a board member, of course, the vice president of the board, and also the board president. So he served in every capacity that you can serve. John, we put together a tribute to you. You're going to hear from your fellow board members here in just a minute, and I will kind of introduce what Ryan James has put together. But John, I want you to know, as a superintendent and also as somebody who has served around you and with you, how honored I've been to serve with you. I first got to know John when I was an administrative intern at Roy High School back in 2005, and there were two things that stood out to me. How much John cared about the safety and welfare of kids. He was the Roy City fire chief at that time, also a board member. He was so visible in the schools that he represented and has continued to do that, perform that and participate at a high level visibility-wise in the schools that he represents. But I was so touched by that. And the one thing that I have always known about John that's impressed me is he is a family man through and through. He has a beautiful family. I want to wish him all the best, his continued good health, many great experiences, happy experiences with his wife and kids and grandkids. But John, I think this video is going to be the highlight of your night. We'll let that play.
Whose line is it? As part to do this, I was serving on a couple of community councils in the Roy area. Currently serving as Roy City Fire Chief, and they had invited me to serve as a safety officer on their community council. And then I also had a couple of my daughters enrolled in the schools that I was serving on their council. And Mike Geilman came in, and Mike had called me in and said, hey, the district's going from 5-member board to 7-member board because of our population, and we're really interested in having you run because Roy's going to have a section. And so I talked to my wife and threw my name in the hat. The accomplishments that I believe that I think I'm fairly proud of is the 3 bonds that did not create a tax increase for our constituents. With the leadership that we had and the advice that we were getting from our professionals was the fact that they could layer on debt, pay it off quick, and we could open up some debt to bond. We bond 3 times, I believe three different times since I've been on the board. Never have we increased taxes on our constituents. Our district has had a tremendous amount of growth where we've obviously had to rebuild schools. We've had a challenging time during the 08 session where we had a downfall and we were unable to put capital improvement projects on top like we wanted to, where we put money away every year to do some improvements on our schools and build where we could. And so we're just trying to catch up. So challenges are just trying to keep up with the economy, the growth. Our 4 schools that we're trying to get open now, 3 of which are done. Obviously the biggest challenges that we have on the board at any given time is boundary adjustments. When you move populations because of school and growth and lack of, the district has a very good policy and a very good committee designed by our directors that go out and involve the communities, gather a lot, be very transparent, and try to educate the parents and kids. Kids can make a move fairly easy. Parents struggle with this, and I understand as a parent and a grandparent, but it's the boundary adjustments more than anything, I believe. And even as much as most recently junior high football being canceled. The district's very well led right now. It's got a great board that thinks very well. Everybody brings their own ideas, they have the discussion, and we all have to compromise at some time. So no agendas. Makes it so that they can have a working group that is always in mind of the number one thing, which is our students and our staff. And I hope that continues on forever. I have grandkids. I went to school in the Weber School District. My wife also, our 4 daughters attended, and now our grandkids are coming through. That says a lot to what Weber School District does. Our district has great people. You know what I mean? I mean, we have 3,300 of them, and they care mostly about kids. I'm still very busy. I just recently, and extremely recently, was put into an ecclesiastical position that will last 5 years. And then I'm still working for probably 3 more years, follow our kids and grandkids. When they travel somewhere or go to Disneyland or go to a NFL game or go somewhere, we just follow our grandkids. So that's what I hope we can do, and maybe in 3 years retire and enjoy life for a little bit. I really thank the board and the superintendents that we've dealt with. You know, I had Mike Jacobson when I came on, then I did it with Jeff Stevens, and recently Gina. They've all been very good to work with. To serve with the board members, it's been very enjoyable. It's very gratifying when they've supported me in being the vice chair the first time, and then to be the chairman, and they've asked me to do that. And then when I got the promotion in the current position that I'm in at the state, and I had to step back because of the time I could commit, they were supportive and saying, listen, we need you to run as vice president and still stay close. And I muchly love each and every one of them for their time, their effort, their dedication, and their vision of taking care of kids and the staff at the Weber School District. And I say thank you. So this is the part where I have to start.
Perfect.
For saying something good about John, huh?
John, it's an honor to take a few minutes and be able to express to you the gratitude that we have for your service, your dedicated service for so many years to the Weber County School District.
I'm so thankful for my years of being able to serve with you.
I just want to congratulate you on all your years of service with the Weber School District, and thank you for all you've done.
Just want to take this moment to say thank you for all you've done. You've been a great friend, great mentor, and you've done a world of good for the children, the students of Weber School District, and everybody likes you, and you've been a great associate.
In John's lifetime, he has worn a lot of hats. I think many years ago, he might have worn even a Roy High hat. And then the hat of a young husband and father to his beloved girls, and of course, his fireman's hat.
I love your sense of humor. It comes into play as needed, and I've really valued it. Also, you're a very practical person. You're seeing events and consequences and how it all works out, and that's to the benefit of our students, our staff, the entire district.
John and I met when we were in high school. John was a good kid then. John's a good man now. I appreciate the opportunity of an ongoing relationship and a growing relationship that has gone on for almost 50 years now. That relationship will be missed.
I'm grateful to you for your never-ending desire to make a better education experience for each one of the children and for those that teach as well.
But the hat I think he's become most fond of recently is a pair of ears from the happiest place on earth. He loves being a Disneyland grandpa. While I haven't personally seen him donning the ears, I've certainly seen him adopt the philosophy of many Disney characters. John's leadership is brave and bold. He learned from Disney's Good Dinosaur, you gotta earn your mark by doing something big for something bigger than yourself. And Pocahontas reminded him that the right path is not always the easiest.
I love it that you are frank. You are kind, but you don't beat around the bush. You say things how they are, and that's very refreshing.
He's lived by the Beauty and the Beast idea that you don't have time to be timid. You have to be bold and daring. He's definitely listened to Hercules as he taught that giving up is for rookies.
As the junior member on the school board, I've known you the least amount of time, but in those 2 years, I've really appreciated your wisdom on the school board. I've appreciated the hard work that you've done for the students here, especially in the most recent years, all the work you've done building these 3 schools that we've just completed, and your commitment to safety with our schools. So for that, I want to thank you.
John and I have a funny uniqueness about us. We're both early risers, and quite often we'll find ourselves on the telephone with each other at 4:30 in the morning. That's something that I'll miss also, and may have to call John periodically just to have a discussion.
You have a great ability to be a good friend. I remember as I came onto the board, you were one that really befriended me and helped me understand what a board member really does.
And I think, John, this was your approach with all of the school board members. You were trying to help us be better board members and better serve the district. And I so appreciate that.
And I want to just say thanks for all your service. We've become better people because of our association with you. Thank you so much. Wish you and your wife and your family all the best in your future endeavors. Hope all is well with you. And again, thank you. Love you like a brother. You're a great friend. Thank you.
I will forgive you for the first time that we met. You called me Katie, and my name is Kelly, so I forgive you for that, and I wish you the best in your future journeys.
And finally, John, as you move onward and upward to infinity and beyond, Walt Disney said it best. Goodbye may seem forever, farewell is like the end, but in our hearts is the memory, and there you will always be. Thanks for the great memories, John, and all you've done for so many.
I so appreciate what the sacrifice you and your family have done for years, because I know you can't serve this many years without a lot of support from home. So thank you so much, and I wish you wonderful years ahead. Thanks a ton.
I wish John and Jane and their family all the best in the future.
I'm sure John will always be involved in something good somewhere, helping people out.
If you remember, at one of our first conferences, Dr. Gary Rhodes made this statement. He says, the quality of your life will be determined by the quality of your relationships. John, I want you to know that my life has been made better and at a higher quality because of my relationship with you. Thanks, my friend. Enjoy your next phase of life and know that you will be missed greatly. Thanks.
Love you, brother.
Do I have anybody here? 27 kids that just left.
Just didn't know if you had anything you want to say.
No, I don't have anybody here, I don't think, unless they snuck in. And that's okay, because kids and grandkids and grandma's everywhere with them on a night when, she can be here. But it is my birthday and she missed it, but that's okay. I'll never forget it. Oh, sorry. She did that on Sunday. That was a very nice tribute. It almost seems like a funeral.
A little bit.
But I'm still alive. So to just reiterate what's on the video, you're going to be in good hands with Wiley Williams. He's got great lineage with his dad, his brother, who have all taught. He has been in the school system, fairly new to this area. I have no doubt in my mind you'll be in great hands with him. I am going to miss the relationship that I have with the people that we deal with. The concerns when I get phone calls and emails that I'm able to pass up and let the professionals handle it. This has been a fun calling. I never anticipated I'd go 22 years. That was longer than I was a fire chief. And nobody threw me out or ran against me. I don't know what happened there. I'm going to miss the relationships. I hope they don't go away. I love everybody on the board to death and the superintendent. I think we've made great strides in the district. I'm proud to say I'm a WSD recipient as well as a past board member. My phone's not changing unless I retire from the state, and I do have a personal phone you can call. Please call me, keep me informed. I love everybody. Your tribute to me was very powerful. I hope I can get a copy of that, Trent. And I'm going to miss you. I just have another calling on Wednesday nights that's going to fill the slot. So thank you, Gina. Thanks, Paul, and everybody on the board. I'll give you a hug when we're done. Thank you. It's powerful, humbling. Thank you.
We also have another long-standing leader leaving us, Dr. Robert Peterson. And Robert's tribute is going to look a little bit different because he's an actual employee of the district. He will have a retirement open house that we have scheduled for him on December 16th. We would invite everybody to come out to that from 3:30 to 5:30. It'll be right here in this room. But I want to just read a few stats on him, and then I think some of the board members would like to extend some thoughts to to Robert. Robert is the 12th business administrator that has served in our district. He spent, in his role that he's in right now, 23 years and 8 months. And we'll have you know that he is also the longest serving business administrator in the district, in the history of Weber School District. He beat one gentleman, an L.E. Swenson, who served 23 years and 6 months. So he beat that gentleman by 2 months. And he's very proud of that. And I'm almost wondering if he was aware of that and kind of timed it just perfectly, is what I'm thinking. He served in the Beaver School District before he came to Weber School District. He also served at the State Board of Education as the school finance budget specialist. He was a school teacher at Clearfield High School when he first began in the field of geography, if you can believe that, and then went ahead and got his doctorate in school finance. So he made quite a journey there. I am going to personally miss a few things about Robert, and I hope he feels this and hears this. I'm going to miss his kindness. Robert is genuinely kind. He has a wicked sense of humor. It is his own unique sense of humor. I'm going to miss him foraging around in the closets near my office for food, which happens quite frequently. I'm going to miss his care and compassion for others. That it's very palpable how he cares for other people. He makes sure people leave him feeling better about their interaction with him. And I'm just going to miss his genuine good soul. Again, we'd invite you all to come out. Robert, we're going to give you a chance to say something, and the board to say something, and then introduce anybody that you brought with you tonight. Congratulations. You want to say anything, Robert, first?
I just am humbled. It's been, the last 2 months have been very stressful because I love this place. And I am a Weber district man. I just am. It's the best place to work. And I'm going to miss it a lot. Yeah.
Board, anybody?
We'll miss you too. You've done a wonderful job. Appreciate your friendship and everything you've done. And as you mentioned in our study session, you're leaving with things in good shape. And I appreciate that. Thank you.
Robert, I'd like to say thank you for service. A great friend, and we're kindred spirits, being in the accounting and financial world in our careers, so we've grown close. Thank you for everything.
I just want to say what a delight it has been to know you and to associate with you and to rejoice in your sense of humor. The smartness is there that accomplishes all that needs to be done for the budget and for the finances, but it's always with a twinkle and always with a quick thing. And I don't know, I just trust you must have incredible metabolism. At one of the last dinners, I was trying to watch what I was eating, and so I was foraging around, and the superintendent said, "Yes, Robert, we'll be looking for something too."
My dad says I'm Danish. My Danish, that's where I get my metabolism.
You're extremely blessed, but you have always delighted in your sense of humor with that, and that's been so precious and really wonderful to be associated with you. Thank you so much.
Robert, you've been a great custodian of the finances, and I think that bears a lot on a budget the size that the Weber School District has. You've got a level head, but one thing I'll always remember about you is the tutoring that you did for each of us on the free gifts at the USB conferences. You would teach us exactly where we needed to go. We're great. We're going to miss that.
Never worked.
But thank you, Robert. We love you.
Again, thank you, Robert. Words can't express how much we appreciate what you've done for all of us. I think Paul reminded us that we can't tease too much or we're breaking policy, so we won't say too much tonight about all the things that we could teach you about. But I will miss you saving a spot for us at the USBA conferences and again telling us how to win in so many ways.
Sorry. I met Robert like 12 years ago running the Ogden Marathon through a friend. So we became like Facebook friends. And so I feel like I've known Robert a long time. Also with all the PTA work that I did before coming on the school board, he always kept an eye out for me when we were here at the district office. And I have thoroughly enjoyed sitting next to you for the last 2 years. He's definitely taken me under his wing and taught me all the things, including the folding of the tickets. I appreciate that he forges Diet Cokes for me when I ask him for, and I will always remember that your award is not to be kept in the box. It's to go on display. So remember that. Thanks, Robert.
Awesome. Thank
Robert,
you.
Thank you.
I just want to say thanks for everything. Yeah, everything's been said. I have to ditto. I get your humor. I get your games. I'm vulnerable. I hate that part. You don't care. You just let it roll off. It ain't no big deal. Lori, you got to go stock up on the M&Ms. He loves them on the top of his cup. As you're talking, he'll eat them. Just let it go and just feed him. He'll be happy.
And thanks for cleaning up after our meetings. I'm going to miss you, so stay in touch. You're the reason we're doing as well as we have, even when we went through the downfall. You were there with numbers. You gave us advice. You layered on debt. You worked with our professional people. And we're where we're at because of what you and your team have done. And you're leaving it in good hands. Thank you.
Robert, do you want to acknowledge anybody that's here with you when as we finish?
Yeah, it's also been my high privilege that, just so you in the audience know, the junior board member always sits next to me. Then they kind of work their way up, you know. And so I will miss having Wiley sit next here. He would have been here, and you'd have moved away, Kelly. Oh well. And one of my pet peeves is when people come and they don't. There are people in the audience don't stand, so I'm going to ask my family to stand as I name you. I've got my son Trevor on the left. He's my oldest son, and he's holding Beckett. And then Lucy is right there at the bottom, and then Tiffany, and Spencer, my other second son, Daniel, and where's Gracie? Oh, Gracie's back there, Gracie. And then I've got. Yes, I like the way you raise your hand. Very good. Annie. I've got Jane Ann, my second oldest daughter. Walker was here, but he's probably out in the hall with Zoe. Then I've got Oscar, my third son. And all of my sons are 6'4" or higher, taller. I don't know where they get their height from their mom's side. I donated my height. And is there anyone else there? What's that? I know, but I was thinking, is Cammie there? Okay, Cammie's out with Paisley. But Lori is the love of my life, my sweetheart. She has been here for me, thick and thin, all these last 23 years. Thank you very much. I love you. Anyway, that's my family. Mm-hmm. And we're missing my one daughter who is in Wyoming with three of my grandkids, and then my other daughter's in Washington, D.C. So,
Wonderful.
Thank you for coming.
We love you too. Thank you. We love you too.
Yeah.
You good?
Yep.
Okay. Well, we'll finish this memorial service. But you know, they'll both be back to next month's meeting as we boot them out the door. So let's move on with some other recognitions. Kurt Swalberg, please.
President Widdowson, Superintendent Butters, and board. That's a hard act to follow. Two great men that I admire, and I appreciate all you've done for us. But I'm super excited because, as you know, I love to celebrate our amazing employees. And tonight I get to celebrate one of our most valuable kindergarten teachers in our district, Miss Kaylin South. So, Miss South, if you wouldn't mind coming up here with me for just a moment. So as she's coming up, I just want to share a couple of just little stories, personal stories that prior to this year, I did not know Mrs. South. But she hid well. Yeah, no, she is, as you'll find out, she's been a staple in the district for a long time. But it was interesting because I was at an assembly out at their school this year. They had a concert going on, and I got to see this marvelous teacher in action. It was a quartet that was playing, and they were getting the crowd involved and the kids involved. And Mrs. South had all those little kindergartners just clapping along and kind of dancing in their seats, and she was leading them and getting them going. And I thought that was pretty amazing. But the other thing that you didn't see too is she was also attending to some students that had some various needs, and they had their little earphones on because the loudness of the concert. But you saw such great care in this professional that was just admirable. And you know, I sat there and watched, and you know, she had no idea I was watching her, but it was pretty amazing. Then another experience that I had later on, I was out at the school visiting the school, and we were doing bus duty, and I was out there just, you know, helping the kids get in the cars and just having a great time, because if you know me, that's like my favorite thing, is to be out there with the kids and getting them doing bus duty. But as I'm out there, I see this amazing educator over there, she's got her kids all lined up in a perfect line. One little guy gets out of line, but you see her so gently and kindly help and reteach that little child to get back in line. And then as Mrs. Geisler comes out of the building, you hear in unison, "Good afternoon, Mrs. Geisler." And it was so, it just goes to show you a couple examples that I personally experienced just being out in the schools, seeing this wonderful kindergarten teacher doing what she loves and doing a marvelous job. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to watch a little video that we appreciate Ryan James and his work and efforts in doing so. And so here we go.
Letter for what?
Mrs. South has been in education for 31 years. 20 of those have been at West Haven. She instills a love of learning in her students, which extends beyond the classroom. They come home excited to read and share everything that they've learned.
Mrs. South is special in so many ways. She has got such amazing routines in her classroom. Her kids know exactly what's expected all the time. They absolutely adore her.
Her caring about the kids. I know every teacher cares about kids, but she goes above and beyond for her kids.
So what I like about Miss South is that she is really smart and she is very kind and she wears beautiful skirts and she is really funny and she is very, very smart like us. It's funny and it's really nice to all of us to let us get fuzzy buddies when we're sad.
Always just really caring for the kids. She gets on their level. She talks respectfully to them. She makes it exciting and fun for them to be in her class.
I like that she's nice. I like that she reads to us.
I love the fun that she has with them. My favorite thing is she always pauses on her way to lunch or to the library or something. She has her kids pause and she has them say, "We love you, office," or "Good morning, office," or "Good afternoon, office." And then they all wave and it makes our day.
She is a phenomenal teacher, just in general.
I like that she says she's not funny, but she is. I'm not funny. It was really funny, actually.
Very deserving. She works hard with those kids and you can see the growth in them just slowly, day by day, the growth that they've done as they go every day. And she just practices with them and she loves them.
We do like all dictation and she says a letter, we say it back, and then we write it. Words go together. That you can slide words. Make a word.
Her superpower is teaching students to read, and she does an incredible job of it. And she is also the voice of reason among our faculty.
The team works well as a whole, in large part because of her input, and she is so good at tracking everything and documenting everything. And we're currently working on creating unit plans, and they already have quarter-length plans for kindergarten, and she's been a large part of the driving force behind that.
It's great to work with her. She's always enthusiastic about what we're doing, and she's always just on board to be part of the team and do whatever we need to do to help our kids be successful.
It's actually pretty fun working with her. She always has fun comments and good ideas, and she always helps me out a lot.
As the instructional coach, I get to work with all the teams when they come in for PLCs. Kaylin has so many years of experience, and she has shared that with new team members as they've joined her team.
Last year was my first year, and she was so kind and encouraging. And she just kept saying, "You guys are doing good." And I really appreciated her doing that for us. She's just a great person. Just cares about everybody and is just loves what she does.
She's really organized and focused and willing to help anyone.
She's amazing to work with. She's very good about making sure that expectations are always followed, and she's just all around a superior teacher.
Plus, she's really willing to listen and help us learn and learn from us as a team.
She goes above and beyond every single day to meet the very unique needs of all of her students. But her class loves her and the community loves her as well.
Congratulations, this is something well deserved, Kaylin. Good job.
And congratulations, Caitlin. And this is so well deserved, and I'm so happy for you.
Congratulations, Mrs. South. You are very deserving.
Congratulations, Mrs. South. We're so lucky to have you here at West Haven.
Thank you, Mrs. South. We love you, Mrs. South.
As you can see, Mrs. South is nothing short of amazing, and she does have a superpower in teaching. You know, there's a saying that says, you know, dance like nobody is watching. Well, I'll tell you, she teaches like nobody is watching, and you just see a smile on her face as she lights up when you saw her greeting those kids at the door. That's what you see. She had no idea I'm watching her, but she's just an amazing educator, and we are very blessed to have her in Weber School District as one of our kindergartners. So, board, superintendent, I present to you Mrs. South.
Oh, I get to introduce my family. I don't think they want me to do that.
That's part of the game.
Okay. Well, I just shortly want to say how grateful I am to work in Weber District. I am thankful for a family that loves me. I am thankful for administrators that have supported me. I am thankful for my coworkers that have sustained me, and I am so thankful for my students that have inspired me. They're only 5 years old, 6 years old. They are tough little kiddos. I have here with me my husband, my sister, one of 3, my brother-in-law, my dad, who was an educator for his career, and my stepmother, Marla, who was an educator for her career. My grandmother was a first grade teacher for all of her years, and she is the one who inspired me to be a teacher.
Didn't I see Matt? Wasn't Lane here? Oh, Lane's right there. Lane looks like Ryan now. He's not even nervous.
We're all starting to look alike.
I know it. It's age. He just sit. He didn't even jump up.
Thank you, Mrs. South. Matt Williams for our next one, please.
Superintendent and board, it's a pleasure always to get to recognize people. And I had a Robert story, but I think I'll save it and share it with him at his retirement. But yeah, we are lucky to have Mr. Ritchie and Mr. Peterson, Dr. Peterson, with us. So we appreciate all they've done, and we'll miss you guys. It's a pleasure of mine that I get to recognize and introduce to you Mr. Joel Robbins, counselor at Two Rivers. Joel, will you please come up here? I'd also like to bring up the principal and assistant principal, Terry Spires and Christy Haas. Please come up here. They wanted to stand up here with me as we did this. So one of the things that I love about my job, you guys, that I didn't know I'd get to do is as I get to go to all the schools, you see the amazing things that's happening. And every time that you walk in Two Rivers, you cannot not notice Joel. Joel is out, his door's right there in the entryway. He's always talking to kids. He's got music playing. He is greeting people. He's always happy. And in the 2.5 years that I've been able to do this, I've never seen him not be on his game. And so I've been thoroughly impressed. So it's a pleasure for us to recognize Joel. So if you'd please show that video, we appreciate it.
If there is a heart and a soul of the school, that's Joel. Oh, yeah. He's the heart and soul. He is the rock of Two Rivers.
Joel Robbins has been just a pillar of strength for this school.
Joel is just a bright light in the school.
He is the kids' go-to.
I started in 2005 at Da Vinci, and then I moved to Sandridge in 2006, and then I was Sandridge for 3, Weber for 9, and then here for 7.
Joel, he's probably the best person ever. And every morning he comes in like really aggressive and he goes, "Good morning." And I'm like, "Good morning." And then he goes, "How are you?" And I'm like, "Good." He goes, "Good." And then he goes and stands out front and he just says good morning to everybody.
Every morning he's out there greeting kids. He's got the music playing. Every kid, he knows their name.
And he's even right down thoughtful to the music, the song that he's going to play, right? Tries to tie it in with whatever's going on in the day, or asks a kid to share their favorite song. He just finds a way to connect with everybody.
He's so good for kids. There's not a better counselor that I know of. He's a neat man. He's all in every day. He doesn't stop. I mean, he's here. He's greeting kids in the morning. He's greeting kids coming in and out of his office all day, every day, and all he does is help people, and he's dang good at it.
He has a line out of his office every every minute of every day.
He just takes the time to get to know them, and man, they eat it up.
I don't know, it's hard to put my finger on it because I like to help kids feel good about themselves, and here especially to feel like they can do it. You know, that maybe the rest that because they all feel to a certain extent that they've been like left behind. You know, people don't care about them, and I mean, I just love being able to meet the kid for the first time and just, you know, get to know them and start to, you know, get them feeling like, oh, wait a minute, I can do this. I can turn things around. I can graduate.
One of the things with Joel is he truly cares about the students, about the teachers, about what goes on, and he's very passionate and animate. I just really appreciate his attitude, his enthusiasm, his energy level.
I love Joel's enthusiasm and the compassion and love that he has for all of the students, not just his. And he connects with the kids on so many different levels, and he's just a great guy. He is spectacular, and he just makes everybody around him happier.
He is one of the most inspiring people for the kids and the staff, and he is here to improve everybody's day.
He's always happy. I don't think I've ever seen Joel have a bad day. He's always positive and with the kid, helping, and just joy. If I'm down, I go talk to Joel, and I'm just back at it.
Joel has been a big part of my Two Rivers experience. He's definitely one of the people that you want to go and talk to when you're having struggles in school and your life is getting chaotic.
What I like most about Joel is he cares more than a lot of other teachers, to be honest, and he just always has a good attitude, you know?
He's ridiculously optimistic.
No, the happiest, kindest. I've never seen him not be kind. Yeah. That's sincere.
Increasingly, I'm just really interested in, like, I guess it sounds corny and hippy-dippy, but there's just the power of kindness. And I really, really do, and this is the part that I know sounds rather silly, but I believe it, that I think how you change the world is through just acts of kindness. You know, that kindness has just powerful effect. And so, you know, I mean, what I look forward to every day is treating everybody I come in contact with to the best of my abilities with as much kindness as I can.
Joel is awesome.
He's an amazing man.
I'm proud to work with him.
we just love having him.
I love working with Joel.
No, he is down to earth. He's a gem.
Well, I think we all believe what Joel just said, right? Kindness matters, and it's making a difference. So on behalf of us, thank you, Joel. I present to you, board, the I Love Teaching recipient, Mr. Joel Robbins. You bet. Joel, would you introduce your piece here?
Well, I brought my wife, Shanna, and it looks like half of our school, which, again, I find, again, very, very, very humbling. And I'm in good company with Kaylin, right? Yeah. And again, I mean, it is very humbling, and I do, you know, like a lot of people just don't like the attention, but I appreciate the recognition. I really do, and I feel fortunate, man. I have good people, the best people, and I'm just lucky I get to do this.
So expressive with his hand. I love that.
Thank you.
What do you drink? I need some of it.
About 8 cups of tea a day.
Sorry, can you put it in Diet Coke?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Robinson. And, you know, that's just two great examples, two great educators, wonderful examples of this quality of this district, and we appreciate everything that you do. Thank you so much. Thank you. We have no one who has signed up for public comment tonight, so we'll turn some time to Superintendent Butters, please.
All right. Well, Board, as you know, we're almost finished with handling the ripple effect from Dr. Peterson's retirement, pending retirement. And I just, as a quick recap, want to remind you that of the succession and the replacement pattern that's gone on so far. So to replace Robert, Brock Mitchell will be coming in next month as the BA. Matt Williams has taken Brock's place as our secondary director. Rob Lake has stepped into the assistant director role for secondary. Melinda Stimpson stepped in to replace Rob Lake at Roy Jr. Ashley Blaisdell stepped in to replace Melinda as the T.H. Bell assistant principal, and that leaves a vacancy and the intern position at Westfield High School. And we've worked hard right before the holiday break. Our secondary leaders interviewed a great group of candidates, and we settled on someone that I'm super excited about, Board. And I'd first of all like to just make the recommendation to you and announce who that person is, and then if you'd indulge me, I'd like to just tell you a little bit about her afterwards. But we are recommending to the Board of Education tonight that Melissa Powell, current CTE coordinator in our district, be appointed as the Westfield intern for Weber School District.
Okay, thanks. Board, you've heard Superintendent Butters' recommendation for Melissa Powell. I'd look for a motion for that approval. Jan and John, any comments, questions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
Awesome. Melissa, would you come on and stand right up here? We're going to put you on the spot. Thank you so much. Well, let me tell you a little bit about Melissa. She's quite accomplished. She earned her Bachelor's of Science in Athletic Training at Weber State University and her Master of Science in Ed Leadership from Western Governors University. She's been in education for 20 years, all of them in Weber School District? 3 in Ogden. So we brought her over. Okay, good. She has been just an amazing CTE teacher in health sciences at Ben Lomond and at Weber High School. She has most recently been serving as a CTE coordinator and leader in our district. She was at Bonneville High School and is currently at Weber High School as the coordinator. I'm going to read her bio piece about her family in her own words. I am married 15 years to Edward Powell, who is a school counselor in Weber School District. We have 2 amazing, beautiful, and very active daughters, Bentley, who's 13, and Braylyn, who's 12. Both attend junior high in Weber School District. We are avid sports fans on all levels, high school to the pros, although we do not agree on the best team. Sounds like a pretty competitive family. We love to travel. Cruises are our transportation of choice, and we love the warm weather. Congratulations and welcome to the leadership ranks. Okay? Anything you'd like to say?
First, I thought walking into an interview with Mr. Lake, Mr. Rose, and Mr. Martini was intimidating, but here we are. For the Superintendent Brothers, I want to thank you for this opportunity. I'm excited to start this new journey in education. Mr. Martini, thank you for trusting me with a brand new high school. I am excited for all the new firsts that will come. And then again, I'm here. My husband's here tonight. Thank you. And then, that would help. My husband's here. Thank you for following me through this crazy adventure that I never thought I would be on. Our youngest daughter, Braylyn, is also here. Our oldest was not feeling well, so we said, let's stay home with everything that's going around. So again, thank you everyone for this opportunity. I am excited. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Melissa, don't be nervous. We're all just friends. You good? Okay. Let's turn some time over to Dr. Peterson to present some information on a CRA and interlocal agreement, please.
Thank you. I'm excited about this one actually, and we have Stephanie Russell from Weber County, just kind of outlining the path how we got here. As is the board procedure, we have a subcommittee that reviews all CRAs, and the subcommittee reviewed it, liked it, and then it was presented to the whole board at last month's study session. And for me, it is a win-win. Currently, we're gaining about $68,000 in property tax off of this area, and right off the bat, that'll shoot up to an average of $2 million over the life of the CRA, and then it goes up to $4 million. And then it's going to provide a lot of opportunity and growth for that area, and it's a positive thing. And we were tasked to have our legal counsel, Heidi Alder, to review the interlocal agreement, and she has done so and has given her thumbs up. And so now we'll turn a little bit of time to Stephanie, and then we'd ask, after Stephanie, we'd ask for a motion to approve the interlocal agreement.
Board members and Superintendent Butters, we appreciate, on behalf of Weber County Commission, appreciate the opportunity to partner with you on this project. As it was stated in our proposal as well as in the interlocal, this is a partnership for 15 years, looking at doing a 50% of the increment that would be gained from this. This is a substantially large project financially, as well as an improvement to the existing Nordic Valley ski resort. It's going to provide a significant amount of jobs, as well as a significant amount of capital expenditure that will be invested into that property in the form of improvements. One of the things that you will be contributing to with the participation in the CRA is a public infrastructure district. The state of Utah has this wonderful mechanism that allows cities, counties to partner with developers to create needed public infrastructure. This particular area is going to be able to provide a regional solution to sewer and water, which is really exciting. We've had some significant challenges in the Ogden Valley as it relates to water and sewer. So thank you again for being willing to be an active participant in this development area and in this particular project. One last small caveat to this project. Nordic Valley has consistently been a family business, and they are going to maintain that theme in this new development project. Although it's going to be very large, they're still going to offer a price point of 0 for skiers 12 and under. We don't see that anywhere in northern Utah, and this is part of the integrity of this project, is that they really want to keep this as a family oriented and as a place where young skiers can learn and become educated in skiing free of charge. So once again, thank you so much for being willing to be a participant in this project.
Thank you. You guys have been wonderful to work with, and we appreciate everything. Any questions, board, before we move on?
Just one on the partnership still. That's going to be a positive thing.
Yes.
And on either CTE or wherever we can get the kids in.
Absolutely, and they're very excited about that.
Good. We hope they are. If they're going to be kids, under a certain age to ski free, that shows that they are vested in what we're doing.
Absolutely.
So thanks, Stephanie, for asking on that.
Absolutely.
Give everyone just a paragraph about that so that everyone understands.
Nordic Village and Nordic Valley Ski Resort will be partnering with the school district to create an internship program within opportunities for students to actually work at the resort and to gain some employment opportunities.
Get their foot into the ski industry.
Yep.
Wonderful. Yep. If there's no questions, thank you. We appreciate it.
Thanks.
Board, I would ask for a motion to approve the recommendation on the CRA and interlocal agreement. Jan, a second. Kelly, any questions, comments on that? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thanks. Thank you. Dr. Peterson, thank you for your help with that. Brock Mitchell, please.
All right, President Widdowson, Board, Superintendent, I am excited to be in front of you again. This has been a years-long process of looking at this, and essentially the bow on my time as a secondary director, wrapping this thing up. Last month at our study session, we looked at, if I can get this thing to progress. Trent, would you, there we go, perfect, thank you. We showed some data from the Rocky Mountain Junior High parents, students, and staff, as well as the Mountain View Junior High parents, students, and staff, and the overwhelming support that we had because of their pilot status as our block schedule schools for this year. We heard that there needed to be some small tweaks with regards to the registration process, how we schedule our students, the staffing that goes into that. That first year we learned a lot, as well as the training that we put in place for our teachers as they transition from a 7-period day to a 4-period A-B, so 8-period schedule overall. We also put out a survey for all junior high parents district-wide and got really high support from that. So this was information that was shared last month. What I told you I was going to do in the intermediate month is put out a survey to the remaining junior high teachers to get their feedback. The survey went out. We had 182 of the remaining 342 teachers respond, which is 53%, which is a pretty good response rate. We broke down based on the area they taught and the schools they taught. So we could get an idea of where we need to make sure we develop some supports, the schools that may need some more intensive supports. And interestingly enough, we had 20 teachers who chose not to say where they were associated with. And there was some feedback from those 20 that was a little bit more against the proposal, but they didn't want to point out where they were. But that was something that, you know, as we looked at this, we felt like that was a valid thing. We didn't want anyone feeling like they had to put a name or a face behind their response. So what I want to go through, well, our first chart, Trent, is it showing back there for you? No, sorry. So let me see if I can pull this up. It was there earlier. Trent, would you mind refreshing and seeing? Yeah, that one's it. Okay, perfect. That's it. So our first question it's there. I promise you it's there. So the first question is, I believe the transition, and again, these are our teachers, the transition will positively impact my instruction, student support, and delivery. And you can see the breakdown there. Now, I'm going to reference back to this question a little bit later, but you can see there's some hesitation by about 34% of our teachers. Right? They are not certain that they feel like this will be a positive move for their school. Trent, if you mind going to the next one. Maybe it doesn't work this time. There we go. Sorry, I want to make sure I'm getting the right ones. There we go. Okay, so the next question was, I believe the additional prep time would allow me to improve my planning and preparation. With that additional time, we're looking at about 80 minutes a day. That support jumps up to 91%. So they are looking for that additional time. They feel like that additional time helps them to plan and prep. So the difference in those two questions is they feel like it doesn't necessarily benefit them, but with additional time, there may be some good things that come from this. And this trend continues on. The next one is, I believe an 8-period schedule will allow me for more in-depth instruction. You can see that that's pretty good support, 76%. As we started to disaggregate this, some of the teachers that teach our core subjects, they're the ones that are a little more concerned about being able to fill that 80-minute period. And there's some feedback from Mountain View and Rocky Mountain that talks about the training and support that goes into that, and those teachers then start feeling better about what they can do in those classrooms. The next one is, I believe fewer daily transitions would improve student behavior, focus, and engagement. Now this one's a little bit of a different question, because when we talk about transitions a lot in our junior highs, we think of the time in between classes, and our teachers don't always see what happens in between the classes, right? Where they're out intermingling with their friends. Our administrators, our support staff, a lot of those are the school members that are, or school staff that are dealing with the students at that time. We're hearing again from Rocky Mountain and Mountain View, but the interactions, the negative interactions have gone way down because of the value they're placing on their lunches and the fewer number of transitions in between classes. So the teachers may not see that, but we still felt like it was something that we wanted to get their feeling on. The next one is, I think an 8-period block schedule could provide valuable opportunities for additional elective courses. You see here, great support and positive results from there. The next one, I'm confident that with training and support, I can engage students effectively throughout longer class periods. And this jumps up to 81%. Now, I told you I'd call back to the very first question where they didn't feel like they could be productive in that. When we throw in here with training and support, the number jumps up, right? We're over 80% in that case. And we've had commitments in our discussions with curriculum and assessment, and then Mr. Williams in secondary, that training will be there. And so we felt like with that training, that support, we would be able to get our teachers in a position where they could be successful. And then the next one, I could adapt my lessons. Again, now with this time, adapting lessons to be effective, that now jumps up to 92%. So again, that training and support, just adding those two pieces into these questions, I think that really shows our teachers that, or shows us that our teachers believe they can do it as long as they feel supported and they get those opportunities to improve their skills. And lastly, I would be supportive of moving to an 8-period AB block schedule where roughly 72% of our current junior highs that are not part of the pilot. And I remind you of the pilot schools and their support and the parent support and the student support. I say we are well over 80% of our staff and our parents and our students that believe this is something that would be good for us. A couple of the pieces, we had some open-ended feedback opportunities, and I'm happy to share. It ends up being about 35 pages worth of feedback if you want to peruse through it. But I picked out some of the highlights. Benefits, increased instructional depth, hands-on opportunities, exploratory opportunities, increased teacher prep and planning opportunities, the ability to provide more individualized attention, small group interventions, and building stronger relationships. Some of the feedback that we heard is that they were excited about the possibilities of taking half of a period among teachers that teach the same subject and actually splitting their students half and half into different classes and re-teaching on certain areas based on what the teacher or the students were not able to comprehend earlier. So I think the teachers are starting to think about what opportunities may be available to them with those longer class periods. The challenges are, as we predicted, some of the lesson design, making sure that the students stay engaged, adapting of the lessons to meet the extended class time, the impact on the absences. I brought that up last month. If a student's gone, they're missing 80 minutes of instruction rather than the 45. So that's a big thing to keep in mind for our teachers. The different transition skills needed to help students remain focused. Breaking up the class period, 80 minutes is a long time. So you need to take 20-minute chunks and find a way to keep those students engaged and focused throughout. And then some of the suggestions we heard is just that continued training and support to fit the teacher's needs, devising those strategies for advisory periods and bell schedules that are consistent. There's a lot of opportunities with magnet classes, students being able to go from one school to another for specialized classes, the ability for us to share teachers among schools to help with staffing of different programs, and then alignment to the strategic plan. That is a big part of what we're looking at. It's a huge input that we got from our teachers as the superintendency talked about the plan early at the beginning of the year. We heard a lot of our teachers saying that they felt like being able to have more time in their classes, they could actually put some of their teaching to those strategic plans. We have two experts in the room. So I'd like to ask Quincy Mogulich, principal at Rocky Mountain, and Matt Patterson from Mountain View Junior High, just to speak about what they've seen in the first few months this year and give you guys an opportunity to ask them any questions you may have before we look at the final few pieces of this.
Brock, before you go, your major impact there that was out there was the fact of teaching, training, and being there to help. Can you support that, or can we support that?
Absolutely. With our early outs this year, it opens up opportunities weekly for our curriculum department to get into the schools. Heather Nielsen's got curriculum specialists in every area across the subjects that we teach, and they're committed to going and working individually with teachers. They went out and supported these two schools as they started making that transition. We've got teachers who have made the transition from a junior high to a high school in the past that have had to go, and I was one of them when I was teaching. I went from Orion to Fremont, so I knew what that looked like, and it was a change. But with time, with that teaching, with the opportunity to put together and collaborate with others, there were some really positive benefits, and we've committed to making sure if we're going this direction, we will provide that support.
Thank you. I did prepare a few things, but it was all on the slides. And so I don't know if you have questions. As we moved into this, we did have some teachers that had some trepidation about that. We provided training, a lot of training opportunities and a lot of time during the summer when we could meet and work through what those lesson plans and things needed to change. But the biggest benefit that has come from this is just that ability for the teachers to get through an entire learning cycle in a class period that I do, we do, you do, and they can do it more than once oftentimes. So we're getting a lot deeper learning. Our attendance is up. We ended the month of November at 90% attendance, because kids are like, well, I miss a lot. I don't want to miss a whole day if I don't have to miss a whole day. We're getting some of these other benefits, these things that you can't necessarily plan for, that is really making a difference. The frenzy's gone. I don't know how many of you have spent a lot of time in a junior high, but you feel like it's a frenzy, right? Those 45 minutes of let's get it done, let's get in, let's get out, and that's gone. We have quiet hallways, we have some peace in the classrooms, and it's been a phenomenal change.
Quincy, those that were a little bit hesitant at first, are they starting to?
Yes. Yeah, first quarter,
pretty well?
The first quarter is that, let's see if what we've planned is working. And second quarter, I feel like they're breathing. Like, okay, I can do this. They're planning for every other day.
Almost 100% now participation.
They're all on board. They wouldn't want to go back at this point, everyone that I've spoken with.
Great.
I feel like it's a disadvantage to go last. All the good stuff's been taken. So, yeah, Mountain View, same thing, full support. My staff is has fully embraced. We had a little bit of an advantage because a lot of our folks anticipated that this was going to be an opportunity at Mountain View, so we knew that those teachers knew that this was going to come in. But same thing, lots of great training and support right off the bat, and in the summer, had lots of great discussions about blocking up that block. So taking the 80 minutes and breaking it up into chunks. So our teachers have done a great job at saying, hey, we're going to do 15, 20 minutes and then give a break. And then do another learning cycle. Like Quincy says, we see a lot of that deep learning cycles going on. So we see some direct instruction right off the bat. Then we give them a chance to explore and practice. The nice part is that the teacher can be right there by side by the student, help focus on where the deficiencies are at or where the strengths are at, make an assessment, do a lot of formative assessments right in that. And then to be able to even do some remediation right in a class period. We've actually already seen some of those teachers saying, hey, I'll take this the struggling learners, if you want to take the kids that are advancing and move them along. Mountain View is also unique because we've got some open spaces. Those garage doors are able to open up. So we see teachers doing those brain breaks. They go out, they take, instead of working at the desks or the tables, they then will do they'll work out on their standing tables in our open areas, our common areas, and our stairs. So it's just, you see dynamic movement. You see just teachers being creative. Like Brock mentioned, those classes that really benefit from that extra time. I mean, foods classes, my foods teachers say we actually can make real food, like quality food. Shop teachers the same way. They're actually making full projects and having finished projects. And art teachers and those elective classes, not only they're more elective classes, they're deeper and more robust and productive elective classes, which has been a lot of fun. Speak to the discipline piece. Yeah, it's been awesome. One of the things it was kind of an unintended, we didn't really realize what was going on, but at lunches, usually the lunches, if you survive a lunch in the junior high, it's a successful day. But lunches now have been where the kids just find areas to interact and to converse. I think in combination between the cell phones and the block schedule, we just see kids enjoying time together, just spending the quality time interacting and not destroying bathrooms or climbing off the walls, because I think they value the time together and that space. So anyway, questions for me too?
I have one, if I could. I've talked to both I have a grandson with Quincy, and I've talked to a teacher and an administrator of the other two, okay? The kids did love it. My grandson absolutely loves it. But my question would be, do we have a way of rating, and you may not, grades? We've already been through a semester, right?
Yeah.
And so Quincy would be the only one because Mountain View is brand new. But you could maybe have said something back at Orion as, are we increasing, decreasing, or even noticing?
We are, I mean, I don't know my community as well because it's brand new, but we definitely are seeing academic success. And so in terms of a percentage of number of Fs, I can't speak to that, but my anecdotal data from my community is far and beyond. My community says that my kids are learning at a higher level, which for me is awesome. But that's way more important than maybe an actual letter grade. So, but
yeah, I can speak to that a little bit. Just based on, we did change our student population at our school, so this is based on percentages, not total numbers, because those are very different, right? Where we went down by 400 students, but we had 2% fewer Fs total at the end of first quarter and 2% fewer students with an F even. So that was just our first quarter when we were just feeling it all out. I have it all broken down by grades and things like that, but a significant number of our 9th graders passed, which they hadn't passed 8th grade classes. So they're having time to get the work done, and they're having time to learn at a deeper level and feel successful at school. So it's been a really good, even just an emotional change in the building.
I have a question for, probably better for Quincy. Have your classes been increased in size at all as you've had to switch to the AB schedule? Have you seen
Yes.
higher students?
Yes.
And has that been a negative thing, or how has that impacted those classes?
It depends on the class. We have tried to create a situation and work with the teachers. Some classes actually want larger class size, like PE. And so that can allow for some smaller class sizes in other areas, particularly like a shop area where it's difficult to keep an eye on 13-year-olds when you've got 35 of them, right? There's a whole safety situation there. And so we've been able to just work with our teachers and be very deliberate about where we lean with those things. And we also pair up some of the prep periods with teachers so that they're able to work together and plan and help with those classes when they feel a little bit full. But that was something that we learned.
But it's felt manageable?
Yes.
My other question is for Brock or any of you. Can you explain the math? You said something about math is gonna, I don't quite understand what the math situation is.
I will get to that. That one's coming up soon. Yep. Anything else for these two? Okay. I think we're incredibly lucky to have two principals who are willing to take this on, and they're forward thinkers. They had the vision of what their schools could do. Each of them tried something a little bit different, kind of going to what Kelly's talking about with blocking some classes, just to get an idea of what model might be the most effective. And I think this may be something that takes a couple years to see exactly how academically it flushes out, right? Because we've already committed to instructional teachers, instructional coaches in our schools. This is the first year in secondary we've had a 0.5 half-time instructional coach in all of our schools, and our curriculum department's working very hard to support our teachers through that. But then also with Dr. Beccarini and what he's bringing in with the assessment world and how he is changing the mindset of our educators around assessment and looking at these different values with regards to student improvement, not just the single proficiency number, 1, 2, 3, or 4, but what happens in between those proficiency values and what growth is actually going on. I think it's going to take some time, but I do think this will pay off in the long run. Moving into kind of the next part of this, and this will hit on what Kelly was talking about. One thing that I brought up last month that is going to be a part of this recommendation is looking at adding an extra graduation credit because of the additional class at the 9th grade level. 7th and 8th grade, an additional class does not affect graduation. Once you get into 9th grade and those are for graduation, it's something that would need to happen. Davis School District, Ogden School District are already at 28 because they are junior high blocked schools. Box Elder is up at 30 because they're on trimesters, and so they're credit layout's a little bit different, but it's something that we have to work with Heidi and Heather because it would be a policy change. It's within our policy, but that would be part of our recommendation. Is if we move this direction, we also increase from 27 to 28 credits, looking at students who will be 9th graders next year. I'm not sure with this pilot just throwing this unwilling, so to speak, group of 9th graders that are at Mountain View and Rocky right now and saying, hey, you now have to earn an extra credit, even though they're going to. I'm not sure it's something that's in the best practice of us just having them meet that requirement. But going forward, I think that's something. And Dr. Boyer Thurgood with our tech department, she has assured us that that's not a problem to get on those different graduation paths.
So if we were to adopt it district-wide, that would be the point at which we would change.
Correct.
Thank you.
Yep. And then looking at what we do with the double block. Part of this, when we looked at the pilot initially, it was we can double block some classes, and it also opens up the opportunity for elective exploration. But you can't have both, because if you're double blocking a class, you're taking away that extra opportunity, right? So we've got to make sure we're being strategic about how we look at these double blocked classes. In working and discussions with the secondary curriculum and assessment directors, we sat down, we talked about what is our best avenue to look at double blocking classes.
Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah. So we sat down and we looked at different RISE data, the Aspire testing, looking at where our students are achieving, where they're falling short on different areas. So Matt Williams, Dr. Beccarini, Heather Nelson, and I sat down and looked through this data. We had some conversations around, would it be best for us to put this in the 8th grade as a math double block, or as an English double block, or in 7th grade? Or do we look at all of our grades? Do we have some blended model? At Rocky Mountain, they're doing an English math kind of blended where they're looking at study skills. And rather than the actual content, they're looking at different ways to improve throughout this. So our curriculum department has some programs in place that are directed to improve literacy and reading already in all of our schools, in all of our levels. Their standards are not quite as wide as our math standards. There's a little bit more focus on those. And so we see a significant drop in test scores in our math when we go from elementary to junior high. And we felt like, because of the fact that we've got some literacy and reading programs already in place to help all of those students in those ELA classes, the fact that there's a decrease in math going from 6th to 7th grade, and a lot of the targeted areas within the Elevate 28 plan, it made sense for us to put as part of this recommendation that all 7th graders will have a double blocked math class, which means they'll have a math class every day. So an A day, I'm going to just, for easy example, A day first period, they'll have math. B day fifth period, they'll have math. Same classes, and it will be just to go deeper into those concepts, right? So we're not doubling up on the amount of material, and that's not what we're going to ask our teachers to do. We don't want them to go into more. We want them to go a little bit deeper and help them understand those concepts, right? And then based on testing, based on some of the way that the students are growing, allow us to dive into the data, not commit to anything, but see if we want to extend that then into 8th grades going forward. Or turn that over to the schools to try something like what Rocky's doing and put in some study skills in the math and English areas. But then it opens up the possibility again for those students to start exploring other classes. And we're not exactly sure what that's going to look like, but we would like to go, starting next year if this is approved, that all 7th graders will have a double blocked math class for their 7th grade year.
So at Rocky, you said you're doing like so is it like a math lab type of a class or an English? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Halfway through the period.
Oh. So they would have like math first period and math lab 5th period. Is that what you're saying?
Study skills.
Or study skills or whatever you're calling it.
Yep. Yep. But if this is approved, for next year, all 7th graders in Weber School District would have a double blocked math class. And again, we'd work with the curriculum and assessment departments to make sure we're putting things in place to be able to see what kind of progress we're making. And then as they transition to their 8th grade, see if what we're seeing is working, continue on, or based on test scores, we take students who are struggling, maybe they're the ones that then go into a double block and start to phase out.
Board, one thing I want to make sure you probably have inferred this, but we would really work hard to educate our parents and our students and our teachers around the why. Why are we doing that particular initiative? And we would start on that and get that narrative going as quickly as we could.
So final piece here, I guess our formal recommendation would be to recommend approving the adoption of the AB block schedule for all junior high schools beginning next school year, the 25-26 school year, increasing that graduation credit requirements from 27 to 28 credits, working to be the standard for that graduating class of 20 to 29, and obviously that would be part of something we'd work with, again, Heather and Heidi, and adjusting that graduation policy, and then requiring all 7th grade students to have that AB blocked math class next year, and see how it goes and adjust from there. So that's our recommendation. Any other questions?
Thanks, Brock. Appreciate it. Board, I would look for a motion to accept the recommendation that we've heard on the 25-26 junior high block schedule. Janice, second. Jan, any questions for Brock? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you. Thanks, Brock. Thanks, Matt Quigley. Thanks. said that wrong. Sorry, it came out wrong. My tongue gets in the way about this time of night, you know? I'm sorry. Let's move on with our auditor's report. Dr. Peterson, we appreciate all your hard work on this audit. You, Seth Pilkington, all of those that have been involved with it, great job. Go ahead and lay it out for us.
This is the highlight of the night. Just saying, you haven't.
Well, we've been waiting all night.
Yes, we. We'll have Seth, if you could hand out the reports to the board. As I said in the study session, we met as an audit committee on Monday and reviewed this, and we have a final draft booklet here for everybody. And they just get looking, apart from the audit itself, the audit booklet just gets better looking every year. The way we include photos and things like that. Yeah.
Thanks, Seth.
And with us from Squire and Company, we have Matt Geddes. He is the partner. He's in the audience. And we also have Thomas. He's the audit manager. And I just know him as Thomas. What's your last name, Thomas?
Heseltine.
Heseltine, that's right. That's because why I did Thomas. Heseltine's so long, but that's okay.
Yep.
We'll turn the time over to Thomas. He's great. You've been with us for for a while now, haven't you?
Yes, ever since the switch over to Squire.
Yes. Okay. All right.
Perfect. Well, thanks for having us. Just wanted to start with, so Squire does the audit of the financial statements this year, and we issued an unmodified opinion, which is a clean opinion, which means that the numbers in here and the financial statements are presented fairly in all material respects. Non-auditor language, that is the best grade we can give as auditors. And then along with the audit, there is a federal audit of your federal programs. The 3 programs we tested this year were special education, education stabilization fund, which is the ESSER money, as well as the Medicaid cluster. Again, for that, we issued an unmodified opinion, a clean opinion, the best we could give, and found no questions or findings. The final one is the state audit, which is given to us by the state auditor, and we do procedures based on what the state auditor has asked us to do. Again, there we issued an unmodified opinion, also known as clean opinion, or the best grade that we can give as auditors. And in doing so, there's a lot of work that goes into this. As you can see, this nice booklet. So we want to thank Robert and all that he's done, and again, credit to his legacy for having an unmodified opinion, as well as Seth and the rest of the accounting department. So we want to thank them for all their hard work that goes into this report. Are there any questions?
I just want to say thanks, Thomas. Thanks, Matt. And special thanks to Seth. He puts together the financials for them to audit, and he leads our team. But also, thanks to the directors. We have a culture of abiding by the rules in this district. It's been longstanding, and by striving our best to do so. The programs, those federal programs involved huge swaths of our district, special ed. The ESSER monies involved multiple departments, and we're finally done with the ESSER was the COVID relief funds, and we're done. And so in my mind, COVID's over. and the Medicaid is a very complex program as well, and hats off to Juliana and her team at Special Ed and others that are so cooperative and helpful with the auditors when they come. It makes it very smooth, and we have enjoyed our long-standing relationship with Squire. Since I've been here, we've had 3 audit firms, and they are by far and away the best. Second place isn't even close. So thank you, Squire.
Thanks. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you. Matt, thank you. Well, let's go on to the apex of our meeting. Heidi Elder.
Everyone holds their breath.
breath for. Good evening, board. I'll make this quick. It's been a long evening, and it's been a good evening. We just have 2 policies to present to the board tonight on first reading. Both of them are existing policies that we've just amended. The first is policy 7100, which is our employment harassment and discrimination policy. And we simply updated that to align more with our student discrimination and harassment policy in terms of the definitions, and then also to include federal and state laws that protect employees from discrimination and harassment. We also included a formal process by which employees can report discrimination and harassment, and links to our website that allow an employee to submit a complaint online and have that go to an email address that would respond regardless of who is in the position to respond. So I would submit policy 7100 to the board on first reading.
Thank you. Board, I'd ask for a motion to approve updated policy 7100, employee harassment and discrimination, on a first reading, please. Doug and Bruce, any comments? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
The next policy is policy 7900, which is our employee corrective action and termination policy. We updated that to include some of the definitions that we have in our negotiated agreement, as well as some updated lists of or items that may result in discipline, referencing employees to specific policies that, if violated, could result in discipline. The information isn't different than what is in the negotiated agreement, except for one minor provision about not having to notify provisional employees that they have become career employees after 3 years. So I would submit policy 7900 to be adopted by the board on first reading.
Thank you. Board, I'd look for a motion to approve the updated policy 7900, employee corrective action and termination, on a first reading. Janice, Jan, any comments, questions? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed?
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. That brings us to the end of our board meeting. Board, thank you for everything. Thank you for everyone for attending. Have a happy and wonderful holiday season. Thanks. Let's have a motion to close this meeting. Bruce, John, thanks.